It's funny, you know, when I was younger, I actually didn't like thoroughbreds at all. I was terrified of them. I encouraged my mother to get rid of the thoroughbreds because I just wanted to event. I wanted eventers and big blood horses. And now I'm completely swayed again. Since I started riding them when I was 18, I just thoroughbreds all the way. And since I've had this lad, he's just, I don't think I'll ever get another horse other than thoroughbred again. But no, it's not for everyone. You have to have a certain confidence about you to get on thoroughbred. I think if you try to do it and you're anyway nervous at all, I'd consider rethinking it. They are a lot of work. People think, oh, I just have to feed them up and they'll be fine. But no, like thoroughbreds need exercise. They're not built like a cob that you can just feed up and they're fat and healthy. Thoroughbreds need work to build muscle. So you can feed them as much as you like, but it's going in one end and out the other. So they do take a lot of work. They take galloping, they take exercise, proper regular exercise, and their brains, they are athletes at the end of the day, so their brains need stimulation. It's like a hyperactive dog, you know, you need to walk it or something to keep it happy. I wanted an event horse, to be honest, and I was hoping to find an ex-racer that would have chased maybe in the past. And I contacted Sarah Sands, and Sarah sent me pictures of this guy. So I went down to Tipperary one Wednesday and met Mark Cahill. We pulled him in out of the field. He'd had 3 weeks off, and so he said, "Are you okay to ride him?" I said, "Will he be okay to ride?" And he said, "We'll find out." So I hopped up on this guy anyway, no arena, trotted him up the road, seemed okay, brought him onto the gallop, and that was it. He was coming home with me. My mum, Patricia, is great, to be fair to her. She comes to nearly every single show. She's just amazing. She's always been there. She's brought me to every single competition in my whole life, and she's kind of kept me in horses even. She's been very supportive. If I didn't want them, she'd just say, "It's your choice, do whatever makes you happy." And then if I rocked up with another horse, she'd call me a fool and, "Well, you look after it now." And then I'd sell it, and then I'd rock up with another one. And she's just happy for me to be happy, I'd imagine.
Do you want to get ready?
I think I could ride a horse before I could walk. Mum always had horses at home. My grandfather was a dairy farmer by trade, and he trained his own point-to-pointers. So that was the old-fashioned point-to-point scene when the real farmer had his horse, and they'd bring him to the meet, and the whole family went with tea and sandwiches and cakes. I think my earliest memory, I was probably about 4, was when my granddad won the farmers race in Punchestown, and they brought the cups home, and there's this picture of me somewhere in the house of the cups with my granddad, and I'm probably nearly the same size as the cups. So yeah, we've always had thoroughbreds. We used to breed a few national hunt mares, and then when I was in college, in school, exams, we got out of the thoroughbreds and we kind of kept a few ponies, and I was in Kildare Pony Club my whole life, pretty much from 8 years age up to 17, 18. And then I kind of got back into the thoroughbreds through some friends who encouraged me to ride out in Ross O'Sullivan's yard one summer. I think I got clean run away with for about 3 weeks in a row. That was when Ross was quite small starting off, and he suggested I go to Jessica Harrington's, and I was 4 years at Jessica Harrington's. From Jessie's I went on to New Zealand. I rode out for a trainer in New Zealand in Matamata, and then I moved to a few stud farms from then. Went to Australia, I rode horses on the beach for Kieran Marr, and then somehow ended up back here in Ireland, and now I teach and race. It would have been November 22 I got him. He would have been just coming 4, so he'd been 4 in January. He was a bit light, as most ex-racehorses are. They're a bit light, need to let down, need muscle build. He didn't do much for the winter. It's not a great time to pick up a horse. I think only mad people buy horses in the winter time. So just took time to retrain him, throw a different tack on him, brought him to the arena, see how he went, fed him up, do the best you can. Then brought him to a few training shows. To be honest, I wasn't going to show him at all. I had done a couple of young event horse series on him, the 4-year-old qualifiers, not expecting to qualify, just for experience, because obviously I really wanted to event him. And I was in Tullow show the end of his 4-year-old year, so Tullow's always kind of end of August. Brought him to Tullow, and the judge said, have you showed him? I said no. And they said you should consider it. So then I brought him the next following April, so that was April 23, brought him to it was Boswell, the Show of the East, and the judge absolutely loved him, and he said, do you show him? I said no, but funny enough, someone's told me that before. He said, aim for Dublin, you should aim for Dublin. So our whole year then was spent every weekend, show after show after show, and luckily we qualified for Dublin in the Northern Ireland Festival, so that was great. So then the rest of the year was just practice. It didn't really hit me, the build up, until August hit and the entries are in, and you're kind of getting an email saying this, like, we have to arrive on this time and park the box here and park the car there, and the stuff you have to pack, like, you forget about the little things. It's always the little things you forget. And just packing the car, and I just couldn't focus. It's so exciting. Dublin is so exciting. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's once you step out of the warm-up arena and you're crossing over into those main rings, it just hits you. It's like the atmosphere is just, it's electric. It's crazy. There's no feeling like it. I've never felt anything like it. I wouldn't say it's scary or there's pressure. I suppose it's probably nerve-wracking because you're kind of hoping the horse will behave. If one kicks off, they all tend to kick off. So you're kind of hoping if one does kick off behind me and start squealing, I hope my lad's going to behave himself. But thankfully now they were all pretty good. Oh, he's delighted with third. Who's not happy with third? It's delighted to be placed third. Like, when I was pulled in seventh, and you kind of everyone has that slight disappointment going, oh, like, will he give her a good ride? Will he behave himself? Will they like him? And then when the judge rode him, he just floated around the arena, and he was just amazing. I was like, oh, he's just, you look at him and you're like, it's so nice to see other people ride my horse, because I don't get to see it. Like, if people tell me, oh, he's beautiful, I'm like, is he? And then I see someone else on him and I'm like, oh yeah, he's lovely. But to be pulled up third from seventh last year was incredible. And behind those two horses that have won so much money and are so famous, it's amazing. Do you know? But obviously everyone's dream is to win at Dublin. That's a dream for everyone. But look, we can't always get what we wish for, but we can try. I did side saddle a couple of years ago. Can't remember the year. I had a lovely coloured horse. I did the RDS qualifiers in Gorey on him. I think it was about, could be 5 years ago, maybe 6. He wasn't a show horse at all. He was not a show horse, but I had borrowed a saddle off my mum's friend from work. We all borrow things from each other, so it's great to have that company to be able to help you out. So this year, Sarah English lent me her saddle that she's had in her family for years, and it was great. So I happened to find a saddle on Facebook, not overly expensive, but still pretty expensive, but I was assured it would be a good investment. So I emptied out the savings account and went and bought this saddle off a lovely woman called Anjaal. And she's had the saddle for a long time as well. I think she was one of the first women to possibly ride at the Horse Show side saddle. So we have that now, and we've tried it out on him. He's very good, to be fair. Like, he's been absolutely amazing in it. To be fair, he's very versatile. Like, he's brilliant at dressage. He does elementary dressage. He gets really top marks in that. We've been eventing a few times this summer already. He's been placed in both events he's been in. He was second in the first one and 6th in the second one, out of a big class of 20. He show jumps, not amazingly, as most thoroughbreds aren't too clean, but we'll get there. Cross country, he's brilliant, absolutely fabulous. He gives me such a feel cross country. He could, I imagine he could run in a race on a Friday and he could go out and win a dressage test on a Sunday. That's the type of horse he is. Sometimes I'd be out the Curragh there and I'd walk him through the stalls just for the fun of it, and he goes into the stalls and he gets a bit excited and he's like, oh, and he just pops through. He's too big to be in stalls at this stage of his life, but he still does it. The feeling you get at Dublin, it's so addictive. It's like it's adrenaline rush. And you go into the ring and you feel this buzz and everyone's looking at you. So you're like, don't put a foot wrong. And people say, smile. And I'm like, I can't even think, never mind smile. So yeah, that feeling, I suppose you look for that feeling all the time. So of course you'd want to go and try again and qualify again. We're going to try again this year. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but we'll try.